Yeah, got my popcorn for the show, it's Tubi time. Cheesy sci-fi flicks, and every weird rhyme. Aliens and spaceships made of tinfoil dreams in a car.
Hello, and welcome to To Be Decided, a Film Logic podcast, where we watch movies that are for free on Tubi, and then we discuss and analyze them. I'm one of your hosts, Mike, and I'm with my good buddies who love talking about movies. Guys, are you there?
We're here and alive somehow.
Amazing.
Ditto.
Same.
All right. In order of who just spoke, that was Ivy, Vincent, and Adam.
That's me.
Yeah, we've been doing this for a long time, and today, this week, it was my turn to pick the movie. And guys, I have thoughts, I have feelings, I have
Blame yourself.
I know that reference.
Yes, I have dreams, Adam. I have, I feel betrayed. I feel lost. I feel inspired.
Inspired?
Inspired.
Inspired to make
What
better
did you-
art than the movie.
Like how? What? I'm just so perplexed by this movie. I just need to know the thought process, Mike. What made you decide on this movie, and did you not see the reviews?
Okay, so 2009. That sounds like a good year. I get my first PS3, right? And I had been eyeing a PS3 exclusive called Heavenly Sword. PS3 tooted that this game is like, this is the game you get when you want to spite those Xbox 360 fools. It was the first of Sony's exclusives, which made games very cinematic and very fun, like you're playing the movie, and it's not just like bland vanilla. And so the game looked beautiful in like 2009. The voice acting had Andy Serkis, no doubt. And the story was like teardrop story. So when I found out that Tubi has a film adaptation of the game, but it would come out in 2014, I expected that level of workmanship put into the movie. And what I saw was not that workmanship.
Yeah, that's crazy. Because the video game came out the same year as the first Uncharted game, and
Yeah, right.
Obviously the two franchises have had very diverging paths.
Right. Well, this group, the people that made this game,
Ninja Theory.
yeah, they also made another. Oh my gosh, no, I can't think about it. It's slipping my mind.
You're talking about DMC or Sensuna Hellblade?
Yeah. So that's another one. The Journey to the West game. What is it called? Entrapped, Ensnared? No.
Enslaved?
Enslaved. Also starring Andy Serkis. Another amazing hidden gem that has been, lost in the Xbox 360 PS3 era. Also worthy of an amazing movie. But I guess Heavenly Sword, drew the lucky lotto ticket and got picked up. But
Lucky in heavy air quotes.
yeah.
Lucky is that's playing it fast and loose, man.
So to tell you what this is like, it's like, Francis Ford Coppola says he's going to make a movie, right? And he puts the USB on your desk and says, I finished the movie. And then you're like, oh, yeah, of course, this is going to be amazing. And then you put it in your laptop, and it's him doing finger puppets in his kitchen. And you're like, what the heck, dude?
But
I expected like millions of dollars in budget, and I got this.
I would expect Coppola's finger puppets would be way more entertaining than this.
Yeah.
I mean, they're passing the idea around. It's just, take that for what it is. But I'll tell you all about this movie. Heavenly Sword came out 2014, starring Anna Torv, Alfred Molina.
Yeah, the cast on this is crazy.
Thomas Jane for like 5 seconds. Nolan North.
Yeah.
Are just a few people in this game or in this movie. It's directed by Gun Ho Jang and written by Todd Farmer. Todd Farmer is not attached. He's not attached to the original game writing, which is funny because that's the part that he got faithfully correct. But he did write Jason X, so.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
that is so like Todd.
So, Heavenly Sword. I'm just gonna jump right into the plot, and then we're just gonna talk about this. We're gonna settle this debate because I have theories about why this is the way it is, and we'll get into it. Okay, so here's the story. Long ago, a celestial warrior descended to defeat the power-hungry Raven Lord using the Heavenly Sword, then vanished, leaving the weapon behind. Over time, the sword became an object of obsession, causing wars among men. To protect its power from misuse, it was entrusted to a nomadic warrior clan. Nariko, born into this clan, is seen as a failure by her father Shen for being female, despite her formidable combat skills. When King Bohan attacks their fortress in pursuit of the Heavenly Sword, Nariko proves her strength, prompting Shen to entrust her with the weapon, while he and others flee. Nariko soon learns that she and Kai, another outcast, are sisters, and that Shen fathered many children in a desperate attempt to fulfill the prophecy of a male savior. One of those children, Loki, is the true chosen one. Nariko and Kai journey to find their brother, discovering that Loki had become a blacksmith and was unknowingly working for Bohan. Along the way, they face betrayal, loss, and growing danger from the sword, which drains Nariko's life. After learning Bohan has captured Shen and lied about his fate, they rescue their allies and find Loki, but he's killed by Flying Fox, who also nearly kills Kai. Kai later recovers and avenges Loki. The sisters return home with Bohan's army in pursuit. Upon arrival, Nariko learns that Kyle, once believed dead, betrayed them by revealing the sword's location to Bohan. He hoped surrendering the sword would protect the clan, but is ultimately killed. Nariko prepares to face Bohan's army alone, using the sword's power and great personal cost. In a final battle, Nariko unleashes the full force of the Heavenly Sword, entering its spiritual realm, where she convinces it to aid her. With its power, she defeats Bohan's army. Bohan sacrifices his soul to the Raven King, but Nariko prevails and the Raven King destroys Bohan. Nariko returns home, uses the sword's last healing power to save Kai, and passes the weapon to her, knowing her time is over. In her final moments, she urges Shen to give Kai the love he denied her. Nariko believes she and Kai will meet again someday. In the end credits, Kai picks up the Heavenly Sword and smiles, signifying she will carry on Nariko's legacy as its new bearer. All right, so that's the movie.
Yeah, now nobody has to watch it.
Yeah.
But you do have to play it. If you don't have a PS3, you gotta buy one and then get this game because it is amazing.
Okay, so I'm confused right off the bat. Do you say that this movie was based on a PS3 game, or was it made on a PS3?
Okay, here's my theory. Does anyone remember Final Fantasy: The Spirits Within?
The movie that this movie desperately tried to emulate? Yes.
That movie boasted that it was made with 700 PS1s powering it. Right? So when this was given over, when Sony gave this over to whatever production company, and they said they wanted to do something like that, but their budget was only one PS3. So they just made the game with they just made this movie with one PS3 and hoped you didn't notice.
Oh, we noticed.
If you go on YouTube and you look up the video games cutscenes and you look at this, they're almost identical, except the video game has like a better frame rate than the movie. And that just blows my mind.
Yeah, and considering that the game came out in 2007 and this movie came out in 2014, like the Lego movie came out the same year.
Next to The Nut Job, next to Big Hero 6.
Like, yeah. Yeah, like How to Train Your Dragon.
Yeah. So, I mean, and the thing that boggles my mind is that, like, this is Sony. They're known for like beauty and pushing the envelope. So this had to be like somebody's like pet project. And he probably got like the crumbs of the budget to do this.
Yeah. I'm surprised they got like 90 minutes out of this script.
Mm-hmm.
The cover art on Tubi kind of makes it look more quality than it is. It kind of reminds me of like that Beowulf movie that's like animated. You know what I mean? Like it looks like, oh, okay, it's like that style. And then you watch it and you're like, this is just like really bad cutscenes.
Yeah. Right. Which is crazy because Beowulf came out the same year the game came out. So it's 2007.
I was half expecting I would need to pick up the controller and press X to continue.
Yeah. Like, I mean, that's just kind of what threw me off is like this movie had everything going for it. It had the story, it was already written, and all the boys.
So does the plot of the movie, like, is that the same plot as the game, or do they change things?
They moved a few revelations around about the sisters, Nariko and Kai, and Alfred Molina.
But like the outcome and like the framework is like the same.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, a lot of the cool parts that were in the game they included in the movie. Yeah, so they got that part right. I'm gonna say that this movie had good bones,
right,
to be something.
Oh, for sure.
I mean, and some of the fight scenes were pretty cool. If I'm being honest. Maybe because it felt like the PS3 controller could be in my hand.
It was like playing a game, but without the fun of playing the game.
Yeah.
It's kind of like watching somebody. Like you're over at a friend's house and they're hogging the game, and like, come on, man, you invited me over. Can I get a turn, please?
In some ways, though, like the game is a lot more fluid and flows a little bit better. So like some of the animation got a little choppy, especially when people are talking. And it kind of reminded me of the Dreamcast Shenmue, which is like 2000 cutscenes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, what what kept getting me was their inability to sync the mouths with what was like being said. They were just like, "It's fine."
Yeah. And
Like
that makes me
Mm,
and that
go
just
ahead.
makes me think that like this movie was originally made in Korea because it's got Korean development team written all over it.
Oh, do you think it was like dubbed?
Yeah,
That would make sense.
I mean, I don't.
Yeah.
At least online, there's no credit for any other language cast other than English.
true, and it was written by a very English-speaking man, Todd Farmer. So
Well, then English speaking and English animating of mouths is
Yeah.
mhm,
that's two different things.
yeah. The
Um,
crazy thing is this was nominated for 2 awards, both voice acting. So, Best Female Vocal Performance in a TV Special Direct-to-DVD Title or Short, Anna Torv. Best Male Vocal Performance in a TV Special Direct-to-DVD Title or Short, Alfred Molina.
Nah.
man, if that's not the participation trophy of awards, I don't know what.
Man, I heard that and immediately thought Ashley Ball got robbed.
Who did she play?
She was Kai.
Oh, I loved Kai.
Yeah, she was my
Oh,
favorite.
was she
She
the
was
weird
Really?
cat lady?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I mean, it was interesting because I know Ashley's credits as far as like she's done a bunch of like really just like varied stuff. Like she's done like stuff for PBS,
She's
but
in a lot
at
of
this
Barbie
time,
movies.
yeah,
Like every Barbie
yeah,
movie.
yeah, and during this time, she was the main cast on a little independent cartoon called My Little Pony: Friendship is Magic.
Ah,
She's Applejack and Rainbow Dash, among many
Yikes.
other characters. So I could just imagine her being in the booth and recording these Kai lines in between, the Applejack talking about the farm or Rainbow Dash talking about being awesome or whatever.
yeah. So the original game had Anna Torv as Nariko, so they kept the same actress.
Okay. Continuity.
Andy Serkis got replaced by Alfred Molina, which I think he just had good sense to say, if it's going to look like that, then,
Keep my name off of it.
Yeah, keep my name off. Yeah. There's not too many other people. There's Graham McTavish. He was in the original game voice acting.
Really?
And yeah. Lydia Baksh played Kai in the video game.
I have like 4 notes, and one of them just says, I hate Kai.
Yeah,
Wow.
She was definitely the most annoying.
She's
Like,
just a little gremlin.
When she was getting bullied at the
I
beginning,
love a little
was like,
gremlin.
she was getting bullied at the beginning. I was like, this makes sense.
No, that was actually my other
Ah.
note is one of the guys that was bullying her, was it Kyo or something?
Yeah.
He says, I don't apologize to orphans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good
I was like,
grief.
she was
Tell us
so
how you
annoying,
really
her
feel,
parents
man.
Didn't want her.
It reminded me of Nacho Libre, where the
Yeah.
other guy is like, I hate orphans.
Yeah.
Well, the hilarious part is like the info dump, like within the first 10 minutes of the movie.
Oh, it's
When
something.
yeah, she faces off against Bohan, and Bohan's like, guess what? That girl next to you is your sister. Guess what? That guy over there is your brother. Guess what? Your dad sleeps around, and you have like 6 other siblings. Guess what? And she's like, what? Like, is everyone related to me? This bird on my shoulder used to be yours.
That's that's one of the greatest part of the movies because the actress on screen was reflecting the audience's reaction also to receiving the same amount of information.
Yes.
What, complete and utter bewilderment?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And you know that kind of like info dump is such a video game thing to do. But that doesn't happen in the video game.
Well, no,
Like,
of course not,
what?
because the video game was well made.
paces it out. Yeah.
Yes. God, I hate exposition dumping. I mean, it was like one of the several things about this movie that I just could not enjoy. I mean, it was less of an info dump and more of like an info avalanche.
Yeah.
Like if there weren't, halfway decent fight scenes, I would have started going to sleep during all of the exposition. Like, oh, please, can we get to the fighting?
Right. And that's kind of where I think they were hoping this would save this because
right.
The original game had Andy Serkis, Andrew Walsh, and Adam McKay Smith as the writers, and Andy Serkis as the directors. So, I mean, talk about fall from grace.
Yeah.
To get the guy who wrote Jason X.
Interesting.
Yeah. But like what was the conversation in the Sony studios when they were having this? Like why even make this if you couldn't nail it? Or maybe they entrusted it with a guy that they wanted to see how he was going to do before they gave him the Ratchet and Clank movie that would come out later.
Yeah, I don't know. If this movie had come out with the game, like in 2007, I think I would have been like, oh, hey, like this is Sony attempting to, do the crossover, be the first, to kind of do this whole video game as a movie and be taken serious sort of thing. But like in 2014, like there's no way.
No.
Yeah.
There's just no excuse.
Like I could have totally seen them doing a marketing shtick where like they have this deluxe steelbook edition of this game and it comes with the Blu-ray of this movie along with the game it's based on, because I mean the PS3 was the first Blu-ray capable console for the market. But that's not what they did. They made a thing with trying to make as much money as they could with the least amount of effort possible.
Right. And okay, so Thomas Jane, the original Punisher, was in this movie. Played Nariko's brother. Has about 5 lines.
Original Punisher?
Oh, not the 80s. We're talking early 2000s.
I don't know, man. There was a lot of Punishers.
So, and he had about 5 lines, and you could tell he was playing a voice that was fit for the Punisher, but not for like the kind of the geeky blacksmith that was being portrayed. So it just like it really didn't fit his. I think they just got him in name only, and they're like, we don't have to give you any notes. We're not going to even show you the character you're going to play. You just be you, because we know you're going to nail it.
I really liked his reaction because they just show up, right, and they save him from like getting executed. And then they info dump on him and they're like, you're the king's son. The king raped many people. We're also your sisters. This sword is your, And he's just like, okay, cool. Like, he's not like, wait, what? He's like, sweet. He's so nonchalant.
He almost does the Keanu Reeves. Whoa.
Yeah. That's literally what he sounds like.
Yeah. Yeah, so he gets about 5 lines. He's just kind of reading the script as he would any movie. And then he gets killed by Flying Fox, who Flying Fox is outacts everyone in this movie.
Yeah.
But he's weird, he's wonderful.
He's insanely
He's a pretty good boss
OP
in the game. Yeah. And the funny thing is, he's not even in the list of the cast on the IMDb, so I can't even tell you who plays him.
That's crazy.
Yeah. But like, he did a great job. He's like, he must have played the game and said, I actually know what I'm going to do. Oh, wait, it's Barry Dennen. He plays Flying Fox. A guy known for being in The Dark Crystal, Fiddler on the Roof, Jesus Christ Superstar, and Metal Gear Solid 2, Sons of Liberty.
That's crazy.
Can anyone find connections between all those things?
I don't know.
Funny.
Tradition? Nanomachines?
Well, what's crazy about this movie, not to keep harping on its quality, like its visual quality, but this movie came out in 2014. This movie came out almost 10 years after Final Fantasy VII Advent Children, and it looks worse than that. Like, it came out after Halo Legends, and it came out after a movie that we reviewed on this channel already, the Dante's Inferno.
That's what
animation.
I'm saying.
Like, I don't understand how this movie could have come out in 2014. Like, if you had a MacBook Air, you could have made a better movie.
Right. Blender was free.
Yeah.
And you can't make something this ugly on Blender unless you're trying.
For like $1 million. Like, I don't understand.
Right.
And maybe like 95% of the budget went towards the voice cast, but like, you had all the assets and stuff from the game. How do you not just make it a little bit better?
Right. And so my theory, I go back to the theory that these guys, they wanted to make it just like the PS3. They wanted to be known as like we adapted it using the same graphical engine and made it into a beautiful movie. Except they found out they couldn't. They couldn't make it beautiful because PS3 engines in 2014 just doesn't work for a movie. And Sony, instead of saying, "Oh, that's ugly and way below what we're used to," they said, "Just let it go."
But that's just a theory. A ninja theory.
Yes.
Sorry. I had to get that in there.
Yep.
Has anything using the Heavenly Sword trademark come out since 2014?
No, it's gone the way of other Ninja Theory things, like just
sold out.
In the underrated bin.
Yeah. I because it was 7 years after the game came out, I do wonder if it was like, oh hey, we want to try and keep the trademark for this. Let's just make something.
Oh, so they Fantastic Four'd it, is what you're saying.
Yeah, like that's the only thing that I think makes sense to me.
Wow. I you know what? That makes more sense. But if you go on Tubi, there are some 2020 to 2025 like just Augo CGI animated cartoons, and they're all like Finding Gmo or Big Hero 7 or yeah, and they look like PS1 cutscenes. So I know these things exist, and like I can show you a whole long list of them. And they're all on Tubi. If we ever hate ourselves enough, we could watch them.
Next movie, Finding Gmo.
Finding Gmo, yeah. The problem is that this is attached to Sony. That's what boggles my mind.
Right.
Could you imagine if
some
Star Wars tried
Asylum
this?
thing that would make sense, but it's Sony, so
Well, it's funny you say that because, in a way, I feel like they kind of did Star Wars. Like, because I mean, in The Last Jedi, they end up killing off Snoke, like in the beginning of the third act.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, spoiler alert if anyone has not seen that, but I mean that's kind of what I was seeing in Loki getting killed. I mean, even though he's obviously just the MacGuffin used to, hurry the plot along, it was unclear as to whether he would actually like be main character or side character material, especially when he started talking.
Yeah.
Because you made a good point. Like, the actor put everything into his performance. Like, it made him sound intense. Like, he gave him almost main character energy. Excuse me. And then just gone.
Yeah. I mean, his emotions seemed more like the protagonist from Tangled, which I keep thinking when I think of a Loki.
Flynn Rider.
I'm like, yeah, that was Flynn Rider, right?
Mm-hmm.
They just
or Eugene something or other.
Fitzbert. Yeah,
Eugene Fitzherbert.
So,
Eugene
like, he had the energy of Flynn Rider, but the intensity of a man who watched his wife and kids die. Yeah, I don't get it.
I also need to circle back to something way past really quick, because I realized that, not everyone listening, probably didn't watch the movie. The reason I hate Kai so much is she talks like Elmo. She speaks in like third person, and she's not like a tiny kid. Like, she's probably like 16 or so, you know what I mean? Or at least she appears that way. She didn't look like a little, a 6-year-old. And she talks like Elmo, and she's like, Kai is sad. Kai kills someone. It's like, shut up.
Well, yes.
To justify
yes, Kai is just like Elmo. If Elmo were a bloodthirsty assassin who loved to scoop up lizards to eat.
Yes.
Shake them by their tail.
And new trick shots that would put freaking Green Arrow and Hawkeye to shame.
Yeah. Kai, I feel like, is the character you want when you want to attract like the Hot Topics crowd and you want a few fun t-shirts made and a few memes. Like, I think that served her purpose.
I mean, I could totally see what she would be playing in the game. Like, she's absolutely like player 2 material right there.
Right.
So in the game, who do you play as? Can you pick, or is it just Nariko? Or
it's Nariko. You can play as her, but then like her sister has like these sniper missions where you have to like snipe dudes from across a whole place.
Okay.
Oh, so she's like a side quest character.
Yeah.
Cool.
And she has exactly similar energy, so you might want to hit the B button and skip those cutscenes with her. Because, she tries to get her sister to eat a dead bird or a worm. Yeah.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
Not to steer the conversation slightly adjacent into video game and TV/movie adaptations, but I feel like with Anna Torv being in this, it's a perfect little segue into an ongoing conversation that I've had with people in real life and on the internet. But Anna Torv, of course, is in Heavenly Sword, as we've discussed, but she's also in the HBO series The Last of Us, which of course is also a Sony exclusive narrative driven
I see.
game. And I've been I mean, of course, it's the series is Emmy nominated, and not to take anything away from it, but I feel like the ongoing discussion, the narrative that's been pushed around for the last like 20 years about video game movies is that they just don't work. What do you guys think about that? Do you think video games adaptations work as movies and TV shows, or do you think that they should just stay in their lane? What do you guys think?
Oh. Well, I mean, up until the Sonic the Hedgehog movie, it was pretty much an unwritten rule that, a movie based on a video game is going to suck. Like,
right.
They're not going to care about the story. They're not going to care about any kind of context between characters.
They don't have Jack Black.
No. But, along comes Paramount with the Blue Blur, and oh my God, it's a movie company that's, that really cares about, the product that they're bringing to the big screen, and they've created a good story and a great character dynamic. What a concept. It's not something that was a thing back in like 2014.
Right. Well, it's just like any other, adaptation of like an IP or whatever that you're taking. Like you either care or you don't. Like you're doing it because you want to and you're a fan and you want to adapt it correctly, or you're doing it just because you want to make money off of the title. So
I feel like this movie got it backwards.
Yeah.
When you want to take your video game and make it ready for the stage and the screen, then you give it to Andy Serkis. And then you let him create it. You don't start with Andy Serkis and then go to Alfred Molina. Though he is a great actor, I just feel like he just didn't do this character justice.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I must ask though, how does this compare to the other really awful animated movie we watched, Dante's Inferno? Is it better or worse?
I'm going to say that.
I feel like this movie made Dante's Inferno look good.
I agree with that.
What do you say, Mike?
I'm going to say this, and it's very controversial. If you switched the production value and kept the story, because I feel like these things got switched. Dante's Inferno had a crap story, but like amazing visuals. Heavenly Sword is based on a good story, but as PS1 cutscene visuals. If you switch them, maybe this movie would go up to a 7 out of 10.
Things would be more fair in the universe.
Yes.
Yeah, well, I mean, for me, I feel like at least Heavenly Sword felt like it knew what lane it was in. Like it was, a direct release. Whereas like with Dante's Inferno, it felt like, I don't know, it it was like trying to be like this fake philosophically deep, oh, I'm so edgy for adults,
Yeah.
thing, where it was just kind of gratuitous and it didn't really I don't know, it just felt
Yeah.
like a weird like power fantasy thing. So
Content wise, definitely Dante's Inferno is worse. But as far as visually, like I felt much more assaulted.
What do you
by
mean? What do you
by Heavenly
mean?
Sword.
Yeah, are you saying that a nude picnic can't be tasteful?
Well, it's got to be done right.
You have to plan those things.
Yes.
oh, that's funny. But okay. What about like TV shows, like video game TV shows? Do you think that those have had like a better track record?
I think when you make a video game episodic, I mean, you're basically taking what makes the video game so great. Video games have levels. And when you break it into episodes, it brings out what people like about the video game. I mean, every episode of The Last of Us is kind of like it's a cutscene, or it's a checkpoint. It saves your spot, and then you watch the next episode.
Yeah.
So
like,
I think
even to the point. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I think it works a lot better when you have time to pace it out.
Right. I mean, even down to them using dialogue from the game, which is pretty crazy. I don't know if you guys have seen like side by sides, but there's like they literally just copy and pasted dialogue from the game and put it in the show. Yeah, I think my take on it is maybe a little different. Like I just don't think that there ever will be or has there like I don't think that there is a video game adaptation, TV or movie that's been made or will be made that will be good. Like I just don't think it's possible, because it's like the whole idea is that like you're trying to repaint a picture onto like a less compelling canvas, if that makes sense. Because like the whole point of like the video games, that like at least you're in control, you're making choices, and it's like this fresh media that is more a personalized experience. Whereas with like a TV show or a movie, that agency of you playing the game is totally out of your hands, and it's just not the same experience, and it's just not going to be of that quality. I do think maybe like something animated will come along, and it'll be fine, it'll be equivalent, but I just I just don't see it being possible.
It cuts out
if
the
you
fun
want
part.
to, if you want to call like the $1.3 billion that the animated Super Mario Bros. Movie made, fine or equivalent, I can see that.
Yeah, but it was still like a movie that was like not very well received.
Not the
By
best
whom?
comparison. And it depends too, I think, because like
59% on Rotten Tomatoes.
There's certain games that I do enjoy, but they're usually not the story games, and the story games I have enjoyed, I don't know, like I prefer movies and shows over video games, because I don't always really care about being in control. I just like the story and the ideas. So I think it depends on just like what about video games appeals to you, because even though I'll probably never get to it, I would rather watch The Last of Us than play it, just because I don't really enjoy playing like games that much.
Yeah, that's pretty fair. I feel like the trap that a lot of these these movie adaptations fall into is, well, I mean, it was like what you mentioned earlier, Adam, with the dialogue being lifted straight out of the game into the film itself. Like, it's tempting to just rip all the cutscenes out of a game and then just do it again for the movie.
Right.
Just, just for the sake of like lazy production value. But yeah, when you even go so far as to freaking recycle actual dialogue from the actual game, yeah, that's just a whole other level of lazy and just.
And also, too, I think it kind of comes down to like, it's like when they remake like 80s movies that were actually good instead of like remaking movies that were trash to make them better. It's kind of like that because, like The Last of Us is like a quality looking game anyway. And they're making, a live action show out of that instead of something that's like older and not as polished and like not, played by everyone for the story and the looks, you know what I mean? Like the American McGee's Alice, that would make a good like movie or show adaptation because it looks a little wonky, like the ideas are there and it's really cool, but it looks the way it is and it's not like a super story based game. So it's something that you could expound upon more interestingly in a movie rather than just doing a bunch of cutscenes from a really quality looking story game.
Right. And at the core of it, that's I think the issue is all the ones that are adapted well, you think recently like Fallout, you think of The Witcher, like all those games are written like TV shows. So that's why they're able to be adapted well. But also at the same time, it's like who are these shows for? Like everyone that's, played The Last of Us Part 2 already knows what's going to happen in the show. So they're not making the show for those people. So they're making it for people that haven't played the game. But so then at that point, just make your own original, your own original show. But then if you want to make a TV show for people that played the game, like the best in memory, at least for me, is Advent Children, which is totally original, totally expands upon Final Fantasy VII. But people that haven't played Final Fantasy VII, if they go to watch that, they'll be like, "What is going on?" It literally makes no sense. Yeah. So it's I think video game TV shows and adaptations, they just don't. Their problem is their audience. Like stuff like Mario, stuff like Minecraft, stuff like Sonic is easy because it's just generic. Like it's fine. Like you look at Sonic, you're like, he goes fast. We get it. But anything more in depth, it's either already well trodden in the video game, or it's just it's like what's the point?
Yeah. I mean, that all comes down to the context, being able to, to connect with the audience through using the context that they're going to explain. Like you said, if this movie is just for, the niche of, whatever gamers have already played the game, have, beaten the boss and achieved 100% completion on all the side quests, then, well, you've already lost the whole audience. Because that's not in the end who you're marketing a movie like this for. I mean, it's not the main part of the audience at any rate.
Right, I would agree. Yeah, I think when you're like the Tetris movie, there was the way that it was written, it's just it's a biopic about Tetris. So it was fresh and creative, It could have been about like 3 Tetroids that are trying to get back to their family. Made
I
by
would have
DreamWorks.
watched that. I would have watched that movie. I mean, I love Tetris, and a movie about like the life of a Tetramino. That just fascinates me.
Yeah.
Again, but I would not be the core part of that audience.
Right.
You know?
Right.
So whoever would have taken on the job of crafting that story has to figure out the right context to bring it to, average American family or whoever is gonna see it.
Yeah. Well, I will say this. The last 10 minutes of this movie was like shot for shot based on the cutscenes of how the game Heavenly Sword went. So I was fanboying out. I'm like, oh, I remember that. Oh yeah, that's so cool. Oh yeah. Yeah.
That's awesome.
I can't remember if they nailed the ending the same way. But that part just kind of made me, that was like, oh, that part's actually kind of expertly written. The part where she's yelling at the sword saying, you're just a piece of metal and, you need me and I don't need you. And like, I thought like that gave me feels when I played it in the game. So when it came back in the movie, I'm like, okay, I at least enjoyed that part.
That's great. Like, what do you say we land this plane, and maybe if we got some time, I can read some of my favorite reviews?
Yes. I have one. If you didn't pick it,
yes.
I have one that's hilarious.
Perfect. Let's see. Do you guys want to hear the 1-star review, or do you guys want to hear the 2.5-star review first?
2.5.
Okay.
How are they defending this?
Yeah.
2.5 stars from an unknown reviewer on Rotten Tomatoes. I will watch this film. It will not be so bad, right? ? www.vietoverlandtravel.com.
What?
What?
2.5 stars.
I don't want to
Fridays on TBS.
Yeah.
And then my other favorite review is from Retina Richards. I think this is more I think it has 1 star because she forgot to put in a star thing, but she says it had a sad ending, but was okay. It also said that only a man can be a warrior, but also a woman.
Oh, yeah. We didn't talk about we didn't talk about that. How every time Nariko's with her dad, it's like, "You hate me because I'm a girl. I suck at everything because I'm a girl. I can't be in this movie because I'm a girl." And then she'll do like a backflip and kick people. And
yeah. Those are my 2 favorite reviews.
Well, Adam, did you know there's a 10-star review?
Oh,
whoa!
Where?
What the what?
Was it the first movie they ever watched?
On IMDb, he says must watch in Blu-ray. Amazing action sequence, great visual, great story. Written by Gun Ho Jang, the director. The director rated this movie.
Did he really?
Yes.
What?
Wait, that's
It's the director.
Wow.
Oh my god.
Talk about stuff in the ballot box, man.
So was
I
that
love
his
that.
review? Is that his review?
Yeah, and he
Oh my
spelled
God.
Blu-ray wrong too. And but I wrote a 5-star review of my book, and so I'm
yeah, but your book isn't a PS3 cutscene.
If you make something, you got to pretend like it's the best.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can
even
at
if you're
least go like incognito when you do something like that. Like if you're, I don't know.
Well,
That's crazy.
I have a feeling people who
Maybe-
can't spell Blu-ray
maybe
don't know
pick
how to
a
go
non-
incognito.
Pick a
There's-
non-suspicious screen name.
Alan Smithy.
There's another 10-star review. It's kind of long, but here are the highlights. The film was kind of like a really long cutscene. Personally, I liked it, and I wouldn't change that in the sequel.
The sequel.
Yeah.
Nobody's asking for a sequel. Nobody
And
asked
then-
for it.
The end of the review it says, "If this was a game, I would play it."
Well, you're in luck, buddy.
It's actually a really good game. You should play it.
Imagine we got Heavenly Sword the movie 2 before GTA 6.
I mean, you could probably do it on your MacBook Pro, and it would be just as good.
You could do it in MS Paint.
I want to
Yeah.
learn Blender.
Ivy, you're
just
killing
for
me.
Proof.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Oh man, I love the reviews.
Oh my gosh.
My favorite part.
Yep.
Oh, all right, Mike.
So
Shall we
best-
end this?
Award for best part of this movie,
Mm.
be it an actor, an actress, a scene, or someone behind the scenes. I'll go first. I
Yeah.
thought Kai was charming. She added the jokes to a very kind of muddy looking movie. Yeah. Take that for what you will, Ivy.
I'll let it pass.
She understood the assignment.
Yeah.
That's what I'm going to say.
Oh man, I mean, what was your favorite part?
Flying Fox.
Mm.
Oh,
Because he killed Kai. No.
Savage.
That's next level, Penny. Oh, that's funny.
That guy was like broken, overpowered.
Yeah.
Right.
Like he can freaking duplicate himself like a dozen times. What?
And attract mates with his peacock blades?
Oh
He
my.
attracted me.
Oh, by the
Hear
way,
me out.
Flying Fox on a hear me out cake.
so I didn't go over this, but that lady snake boss, she's
Oh.
actually like the more notable characters are all bosses in the game,
Yeah.
and she actually like is kind of a nemesis, but she gets killed like so fast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a little disappointing.
Yeah.
She was cool.
I'd have to say it made me feel eel.
That's a hear me out.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Vic, what did you like?
Well, I believe that Kai was like the only silver lining for me in watching this movie. It was just it was nice to hear, a familiar voice actor do something that was not really a character that I had known her for. Really showed her vocal range. But other than that, I'd probably have to shout out the accountant because this movie became probably a huge tax write-off for Sony.
Yeah.
He
That is
saved
very
money.
Oh yes.
Is this the Hitler in Springtime of video game adaptations?
We figured it out.
It's the Wiley versus Acme of video game
Oh, yeah.
adaptations.
But it wasn't canceled and then brought back.
They put it out and they
Alright.
shouldn't have.
Mhm. So, final rating, which I think I can just
Oh.
determine everyone's final rating. Is this Tubi the greatest? Tubi
I didn't
enjoy.
do mine.
Oh, wait, you didn't do yours?
Oh, Mike.
Oh, I'm so sorry, Adam.
Too bad. Let's move on.
Hey.
Kidding.
My favorite part was the fact that they got one of the big four to voice in this. I don't know how they got Nolan North to act in this, but that's crazy. And I think it's funny because Nolan North, of course, is probably best known for his Nathan Drake portrayal. And the fact that he was in Uncharted that came out at the same time as the game, it just feels kind of full circle. So Nolan North shouts out. I couldn't tell you which character he voices.
He plays Chinese rapist dad.
Yeah. I didn't know his name, but I was just like watching. I was like, yeah, that's Nolan North.
That's a whole episode of just explaining what was wrong with that sentence I just said.
I didn't know the character's name, but I knew that it was Nolan North, and then I was just like, this is just Nolan North.
Right.
Yeah, so that was the best part for me.
Right. So now to the reviews.
Yes.
Is it to be the greatest, to be enjoyed, to be disposed, or just to be forgotten? Adam, I forgot you the first time. You can go first.
This has to be forgotten, right? Like this is an abomination. Get it out of here.
Yeah.
If it's an abomination, will it stick in your mind?
No, I forgot it immediately.
All right, fair enough. All right, Vic.
I've already deleted this movie from my memories, so... Wait, what were you doing again? Oh, yeah, the podcast thing. Yeah, this needs to be forgotten, banished, sent to the Shadow Realm. Just... no.
Yeah. Ivy?
I think this movie is spiritually connected to Dante's Inferno because I think that's one of the circles of hell they left out of the movie. It's the one where he just has to watch Heavenly Sword.
So you liked it?
Okay, fair enough.
It was fantastic. Give it all the Oscars.
Is that a dispose or a forgot?
Both.
Oh,
It
wow.
should be
okay.
both destroyed and wiped from everyone's mind.
Yeah. So, me, I'm gonna say I'm like Fox Mulder. I want to believe. I want to believe that this was good.
I want to forget.
And
never forget.
And originally I was going to say, okay, they at least got the end, so maybe that's enough to be enjoyed. But then after hearing everyone talk, I think the more appropriate thing is to forget this movie. I think it's to be forgotten, and I'm so sorry to say that. It's like talking about one of your children and saying that.
No, I get it. It's like when you're really looking forward to a movie or an IP, and then you watch it and it's garbage.
Yeah,
and you feel let down.
Now, when you said this movie broke me before I had watched it, I'm like, oh no. This was my honest pick. This was my I'm really trying to impress the team pick.
Yeah, as I was watching it, I felt like that meme image of like the soldier like dissociating. That was my face when I was watching this.
Oh. Ugh. Right. All right. So that's everyone's review. Folks, before you watch this movie, just play the game. Buy a $150 PS3. You'll find this game on eBay around $40. That's $200 for about 6 hours of gameplay. Guaranteed you'll like that all those consequences better than watching this movie.
And hey, once you buy it, you can own it. Because, yeah.
And you like it or your money back.
Yep. And there's no commercials in between about, like, adult diapers. Okay. So, anyways, next movie we're doing is going to be chosen by Adam. Adam, any clues, spoilers, hints?
Oh man, I have some thoughts. Maybe expect some sword and sorcery for next time.
Oh, fine, huh?
Interesting.
I am intrigued.
All right. Well, folks, thank you for joining us and just being part of this weird fascination with movies that hurt. And, I hope to see you next time. Keep listening to us. My name is Mike.
I'm Adam.
I'm Ivy. Keep on trucking.
And I'm Vin. I don't know how this keeps happening.
Thank you for watching To Be Decided, and hope to hear from you next time.
Yeah! Got my popcorn for the show, it's Tubi time. Cheesy sci-fi flicks and every weird rhyme. Aliens and spaceships made of tinfoil dreams in a cardboard universe where nothing's as it seems. Yeah, as it seems. They got ray guns blasting in a paper sky. Cheap effects, but fun enough to fill your eye. Plot holes deeper than a crater on the moon, but I'm hooked like fish to a melody and tune.